My name is Carly Bourgeois and this is my FCED 20 to 30 minute demonstrations video. Do you ever come home after a long day of work or school and not know what to eat? You want something to eat healthy and packed with vitamins and minerals, but also want something that is tasty and satisfying? Stop looking, because this fettuccine alfredo with sun-dried tomatoes and vegetables is the meal for you. For this recipe, it includes a variety of things. First, you needed 8 ounces of some fettuccine pasta, a half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes, 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 4 ounces of fresh asparagus, 4 ounces of Brussels sprouts, 1.5 cups of broccoli, 8 fresh mushrooms, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1 1/4 cup of milk, and a half a cup of finely shredded Parmesan cheese. For this recipe, I started off with the noodles and I put those to boil. I got a pot and filled it up with water and added a pinch of salt. The salt is for taste, and it also increases the boiling temperature, which helps the noodles boil better. So once the water started to boil, I added the noodles in, and I let that boil for 6 minutes, and then for the remaining 2 minutes, I added in the sun-dried tomatoes so it can give the flavor. Now that we have the noodles boiling, I'm going to start off with chopping the vegetables and getting them prepared for the rest of the recipe. So I'm going to begin with the asparagus. For the asparagus, you want to grab one, and then you want to just try to break the end off, and that end part is where it's very hard and it's hard to eat, so you just want to chop that off. So since I did it for one, typically that means it's the same for the rest of them. So I'm going to just line up what I think is 4 ounces, since I need 4 ounces for the recipe. I'll line that up. Once I get it lined up, I'm just going to chop off the end. Let me put a little less. There we go. So just do a chop like that. So you want all of them like this. Then I'll add the rest of them. Break it in half again. You seen how I did it? It was simple. And then line all the rest up. And also do the same thing. And for this recipe, I'm just going to also make it the asparagus a little smaller, because I typically don't like big chunks of anything in my meals, just because it's easier to eat. So I'm going to just go diagonal and cut it like that, and cut it like that. And then they're all typically the same side. I'm going to turn my little handy dandy measuring to make sure I have 4 ounces of asparagus. So I'm going to just place it in the bowl. So we're at 1.34. We just need a bit more. So chop it up again. So 321. We just need a tad bit more. And just like the rest, we chopped the little, snapped it in half. And line them up again. You just want to get to 4 ounces as close as possible. Alright. So there we go. And now we have 4 ounces of asparagus. Asparagus is a great source of vitamins and minerals and essential proteins. It's rich in vitamin A, B1, B12, B3, B5, B6, folate, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Some good health benefits of asparagus is it prevents low birth weight and birth defects during pregnancy. It aids in curing epilepsy and urinary tract infections. It's a good remedy for curing hangovers, anxiety, and stress. And it's effective in easing premenstrual bloating. This helps combat depression with the premenstrual bloating. It helps with combating depression and fatigue, and it controls the blood loss and maintains hormonal balance. Since now we have all the asparagus chopped up into smaller pieces for the recipe, we'll move on to the Brussels sprouts. For the Brussels sprouts, what you want to do is remove all the leaves that you see that are kind of like away from the actual Brussels sprout, and leaves that are brown and looks like it's not good anymore. So you just want to remove those leaves. And then cut off the bottom. And then you want to cut it in half. Because for the Brussels sprouts, you want to do it in quarters. So I'm going to cut it in half again. Oh, some little leaves came off, but that's okay. We still have it all intact. And then quarter it like this. And just like for the asparagus, you need 4 ounces of the Brussels sprouts. So we will just continue to do it for each one. Cutting it in half like this, and then cutting it in half again. And you just want to keep, like I said, removing the leaves that look brown and that are withering away until you have like when you can see that the leaves are basically all intact. And then what you do, you also cut off this part right here. You see it right here, how it's like separate from the actual Brussels sprout. You cut that off because that's a hard part to eat and you don't want to eat that. And then just like the other one, cut it in half. This one's kind of small, so I'm gonna just cut this one in half because it's kind of the same size as the other one. Because you want all your vegetables the same size so they can cook all those at the same time. It's just better for the cooking process. And then continue cutting it. And I'm going to cut it like this. And you want to make sure you use a small knife because big knives are too big for teeny tiny Brussels sprouts like this. And some good knowledge facts about Brussels sprouts is that it's rich in vitamin C, B6, A, and K, and it's high in dietary fiber, also in manganese and copper and potassium. Health benefits of the Brussels sprouts include it boosts the immune system due to the vitamin C in it, because you know vitamin C, they always tell you to take a vitamin C type tablet when you feel like you're getting sick to prevent the cold from being worse than what it could be. It also reduces blood pressure because it acts as a vasodilator, which reduces the tension in the veins and arteries. A vasodilator is basically expanding the walls of the arteries and veins, so it's easier for the blood to go through the veins and arteries. It balances hormones and improves bone strength and increases metabolism. Now that we are finished with asparagus and Brussels sprouts, all we have left is broccoli and mushrooms. Next, I'm going to do the broccoli. For the broccoli, I need 1.5 cups of broccoli. So what I'm going to do is just, you see how it's all bunched together? Well, you don't want that when you're eating, because that's obviously way too big. So what I'm doing is just taking it off. You just pull it apart. Very easy and simple. When you get in the middle, it kind of gets a little hard. So you can just chop off this end piece, because that's what's stopping you from being able to pluck it off. So I'm just going to add my broccoli into this measuring cup. And like I said, you want 1.5 cups of broccoli. Broccoli is high in dietary fat and proteins. It's got some vitamin A, beta carotene, B1, B12, B3, niacin, and folate. Some good health benefits for broccoli is that it prevents cancer, aids in digestion, and it aids in digestion by, it regulates the gut health due to the fiber in it. So it keeps everything moving along properly. And it also helps with the stomach lining to maintain a healthy bacteria in the intestines. It also lowers cholesterol and detoxes the body. So we're almost at 1.5 cups of broccoli. Just a little bit more. Let me cut this in half. That's a little big. Cut that in half like that. So, just didn't need this one. So this is 1.5 cups of broccoli. I'm added with the asparagus and Brussels sprouts, because they're all going to be cooking in the pan in just a sec after we do our mushrooms. Since we're done with the broccoli now is the mushroom time. It's almost time to start cooking in the pots back there. So, for the mushrooms, for all the other vegetables, you know how you have to wash it just to get all the extra the extra nastiness out? Well, for mushrooms, you actually don't want to wash it, because when you wash mushrooms, what happens is that they absorb all the moisture from the water, and then they don't cook properly. So you don't wash mushrooms. So with the mushrooms, since we needed 8 mushrooms and we need a slice. So what I did, I had 8 mushrooms, and what I did was just put it in half, so it'll be easier for me to chop. So, just like anything else, you kind of want it in thin sliced pieces like this. You don't want it too thick or too thin, because you're going to be eating it. You don't want a big old mushroom in your mouth. So you keep doing that until you have all your 8 mushrooms chopped. Mushrooms are fairly easy to chop, so I like cutting mushrooms. For mushrooms, they have good sources of potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, vitamin C, niacin, folate, and vitamin D. The health benefits include lowering cholesterol. It treats anemia because the low levels of iron in the low iron in the blood, and it's packed full of iron. It prevents breast and prostate cancer. The beta glucans, which are found in mushrooms, and the linoleic acids, which have anti-carcinogen factors, which helps with preventing the cancer.